Good morning, Dan here with my 30-foot Dory build. I'm down in my basement this morning trying to get the shin log grooves cut out of my 2x4s and my shear clamp at the top of my frames, and I'm having a little difficulty doing this. Now, you would assume that right away it's just two cuts, one in, one up. Well, not that easy. Okay. I'm not a professional woodworker, but I have worked with wood. I used to build decks. So decks I understand. So this is no different. But if you're not paying attention, you're going to cause yourself a lot of trouble. So anyway, I made this little jig here for the depth, which is 3/4 inch. This is what I'm making it. Now what I do with this is I was putting it up against my frame 2x4 like this. And then I would trace out this shape. And after tracing out the shape, I end up with a line here, and this is what I would cut out right here. So this would be my shear clamp going in here. And of course my shin log goes on the bottom. Okay, regardless how high your frame is on your boat plan. That's where it goes, top and bottom. So I built this to try to keep it all symmetric. Well, what I failed to do, and what I should have probably have done, is cut an angle on this. You know, my 60 degrees or whatever, chop that corner off so it was the same as this. So what I was running into here is that I wasn't paying attention. So sometimes I'd line up the top with the top where it's supposed to go. And then for some reason, I wasn't paying attention, and I'd line up the other corner. And yeah, believe it or not, I was this far out. So when I went to put this in, this was actually lower. See, after it's cut out, it's actually supposed to look higher. Because when I go to plane this off after the boat's assembled, the frame, you take an electric plane or a hand plane, and you plane this even with the top of your shear clamp here. So then it gets all leveled out, ready to put shear clamp material over the top as you assemble your boat. Seems easy enough. Well, I screwed up. I was installing them high and I was installing them low. So I was getting almost 5/8 of a space in the bottom. You know, if when completed it was supposed to be here, I was up here somewhere. Now, I'm a little finicky. I'm thinking now I got to go back. I'm going to have to cut a little piece of material and glue it into there, so into that spot. Then put my shear clamp when I go to install it. That's how I'm a little fussy that way. I don't like making mistakes, but I do. I only did it to 2 of my frames out of 15. Which is good. I mean, I learned something. Whoa, let's fix the problem. So, I'm using this for rough fit now. I'm not using this to trace anymore. I made myself a jig. So I got myself a piece of material here. It's a 2x4. I cut out that section, which is this, as you can see, right? And I'm using this with supports going down the 2x4. This is the left side and the right side. Right? So if I'm doing the right side, I'll be leaning this on it, and I'd end up with this. Okay, now, I know in order for this to work, my frame has to be the top of my frame has to be the same height as my jig. Now, you see that little space in here? See that little space? That's where I was making my mistake. Now I'm not doing that. So I get my piece lined up square with this rail I've put on here. And I make everything square. Everything's high, double check really quick. Take my pencil and I draw it out. Okay? Then I cut the piece out. I come back and I check with my little spacer here. This is the right width. So I end up with the right depth. I end up with the right height. And that little piece inside here is going to get planed off, as I said earlier. Okay? So now, for those of you that are good at this and do this every day, you might be sitting there going, whoa. But that's okay. I'm no professional. This is helping me make my other ones work right, and that's all I care about. Okay? So what I'm going to do here really quick, I'm still working in a very tight space, and I'm in a 10 foot, or I'm in about 10, 11 foot by 12 feet maybe. Now, here's one of my frames. I wish I can show it to you, but I have to move the camera, which I think I'm going to do anyway, okay? Excuse for the jiggling. I'll have to... No, my light in the back is getting in my way. Hang on a second. Okay, we'll try this. You don't need to see me anyway. So, here's my frame, and this is how I'm working, right here in the chair. And I'm going to have to take the screw out of the corner here. I originally put the screw in to help hold the frame from moving while it dries. So now I got to remove those screws before I can do this. So I'm going to tilt this up for you. There's the frame, there's the corner. Okay. Now, I'm going to flip my jig around for the bottom. So I'm going in this way. Okay, so that fits. I'm using this as a check. I'm just using this as a check to make sure it's coming out where it's supposed to. And it is. So, I've got my support piece here, keeping it straight, aligned. I'm going to go ahead and draw my lines in here. Okay. Remove my jig. If you give me a moment, I'm going to remove this piece of material. Yes, I'm going to make a little bit of noise right now with my Bosch. This thing's a beautiful tool. It really is. I've got a double-sided cutting blade on there. It'll cost a little more money. See that double edge? Man, does it work. Really nice. I've never used them before. This is the first time I've ever purchased them, and yes, I like them. Now, just for the fun of it, okay, the height is good, the depth is good. Matter of fact, I can be a little bit more, I can be a little more fussier here. I'm going to take it down a bit more. Now you got to remember when you're using a jigsaw, don't push it hard, because what's going to happen, it's going to flex on you, and it's going to throw your cutout. And that's just going to make you give you a little bit more work. I use this back saw to do some of the small work. If I've had more room to move around and clamp my work, I'd use this a lot more, but that's not happening because of the situation I'm in here. It's just easier to use a jigsaw. Okay, so now I got the right depth. I do have the right height, and it fits right in there. Not bad at all. I can't complain. I guess I can be a little. I'm gonna be a little fussier. I'm gonna give it one more shot here. Let's see if that's going to do the trick. Yeah, a lot better fit on the end. Okay, a lot better fit on the end. Now, remember, when I assemble this outside in the spring and I line up and I put in the shin log edges and stuff, there'll be some trimming that'll have to be done because radius. There's a small radius right here, and that'll have to be done when I get the shear clamp and the shin log installed. I'll have work to do there. But this is just getting the groove cut out. It's the depth is there, so there's no problem. There will be some adjustment as the boat tapers in, and I'll take care of that when the time comes. So that was the bottom of my frame. I will repeat the process. I will just flip this over. I've now flipped it over. I am lining this up with the top again. Okay, it's all lined up again. Take my pencil, scribe a line in there. There we go. Talk about scribe. If you like what you're seeing, please subscribe and hit like. It helps us out a lot. Thank you very much. Okay, so remember, the other one goes this way, the other one flips over and goes this way, and this automatically. This jig here for me is keeping me from miscutting. Now, I know that sounds petty, but it happens. And it's just that fast. I'll check my... Okay, that's a winner. I got the right depth. I certainly have the right height. That quick. Now I'll just continue doing that throughout the project. Let me fix that camera. I'm using my iPhone, so right. I feel bad about it, but it's all I've got. Okay, so don't forget to pick up all your dust. You're going to use it later on in the build. You can mix it in with your epoxy to thicken it. I'm keeping all my dust. I put it through a screen, and I put it into a container, which I have hidden here somewhere. Yes, indeed, somewhere. So there you go. It's all ready to accept that piece of material in here. And when it comes time to take it shaping it a bit in the spring, when I go to put my 3/4 inch ply in here, which is what I'm using. Some people use yellow pine, I think it's 1x3 the plan asks for in this case. The problem with that, the cost is much higher than actually going out and buying a 3/4 inch sheet of quality plywood, which is what I'm going to do. I'm going to cut all my strips down with a skill saw. And not butt glue them, but taper them, flip them over, epoxy them together, and that's how I'm going to make my shear clamp and my shin log assembly. And here's the bottom. There you go. See that? So in my case, I have solved the problem of making simple mistake when it comes to cutting these grooves out of the wood for me. I've already got 4 done out of the 15, and I'm going to slowly keep on going at it today. Of course, I'll complete this today. I'll have to go out in the shed and pick up the other ones and bring them in to the basement, and I will continue doing this process. So sometimes, if you don't have the right tool, you might have to make the tool. Now, this is honestly working for me. You might think, yeah, but that's working for me. I'm cutting a good groove. It's coming out 95% square, and I'm happy with it. So I'm going to continue doing that until all 15 are done. The job has to be done, so I'm doing it now. As I said, so in the spring, I don't have to take the time to do it then when I can do it now. So it's just saving time, because winter I'm going to lose a lot of time building, which is a shame, but it is giving me a chance to purchase product, which I cannot purchase all at once, because I'll be honest with you, this is going to cost several thousands of dollars to build. My frame to date, I think, has cost me maybe $400, but I'm using cedar for my frame instead of pine. All of his plans consist of basic building materials, pine. We call it ugly on both sides, 3/4 inch ply or unfinished ply. Good on one side ply, depends what you want to pay for your materials. I picked up 1 sheet of birch. Nice stuff, $45 a sheet. I've applied it to my transom already, and I'm sitting here looking at this thinking, you know, I got to fiberglass it anyway, so I don't see the sense of purchasing high-end material finished like this if I'm going to fiberglass over it anyway. So what I may end up downgrading to, if you want to call it that, is good on one side ply. I'll put the bad side on the outside and the good side on the inside. So when I go finish the inside, I don't plan the fiberglass the inside of the boat, even though I will epoxy the entire inside. I'm not going to fiberglass it, only the outside. So I don't think I need that nice finish on the outside. I think that's ridiculous to spend that kind of money to cover up a nice material you're paying for anyway, even though it's an excellent grade of material. The birch 3/4 inch ply finished on both sides is 1 step before marine ply. I've been told that by several people. All I can tell you, I have cut into the sheet, and I have found no voids in it yet, which is a good thing, I think. So I'm going to leave you with this today. My little jig for trying to get the correct cutout shape. Handy. Make one. If you need one, make one. Think outside the box, I think they call it. You know, if you're an everyday woodworker and this is in your mind just like getting up in the morning and getting dressed, that's great. Yeah, I got up this morning, I did get dressed, I did come downstairs, and I started making mistakes. And I think I remedied them before they went too far, which is what I like. And it's going to work just fine on these pieces. They're going to work just fine. Yeah. Another thing also, just small thing here. Yeah. Oh, earthquake. Wow. I know this is not San Francisco, but I picked up my saw and I picked up everything with it. Sorry. I got the Bosch tools. Good tools. Yes. DeWalt. Yeah, good tool. I got Sanders drills. DeWalt. Mastercraft. I've got tools. Mastercraft power tools. I've got what do you call that? A Delta chop saw. I've had it over 10 years. It still cuts really good. Inexpensive tool, but it cuts good. And I've got a Makita 10-inch chop saw, but I got to get the trigger replaced. I'm not too sure how old it is. I bought it off of somebody, and I've had it about 9 years. But I was walking through Walmart the other day, and just looking around while we were doing some regular shopping. And I saw the small box there and had a picture of a drill on it, so I walked over to it to take a look at it because I ain't got the money to spend on another $130 whatever drill. And I found this sitting there. I'm obviously not getting paid, but this little guy here, hyper tough, 18 volt NiCad battery, 18 volt NiCad. It's got 19 settings on it and drill. Got a little light on it. I've never had a drill with a light on it before. Okay, now get this. 35 bucks. Yeah, 35 bucks. Now, if this lasts me, this project, it would be worth paying the 35 bucks, regardless. I mean, if the battery goes on it or something, poop, it's in the garbage. But for $35, it got me into a cordless drill real fast. And I've been using it this morning to take screws out and put screws in. It's working pretty good. So, Walmart, $35. We'll see how it works out by the time the project's done. Now, I've got other drills, yes. I've got DeWalt drills, I got hammer drills, I got all kinds of drills. And yeah, they're worth more than $35. But this little fella here, we're going to see how it'll pull its weight. For $35, arthritis in my hands, get a break from the old screwdriver. Which is good. Okay, well, great. I've had a fantastic morning. I'm going to leave you right now. Please subscribe and at least push like. I hear that helps us out a lot. I'm gonna, let's see here, sorry for this, and my hand, and I'm getting in trouble already. There's all my frames I'm working on down there. Yeah. There's my fancy jig. Don't be afraid to be experimented with that. And take care, and we'll see you on my next video.